all my childhood, I suffered with a lot of health problems. PCOD, thyroid imbalance, hair fall, acne, overweight. I just led an extremely sick life. It completely shattered my confidence.
I had a similar experience growing up. The feeling that happens to a child when they're not well. I've gone to the best doctors, I've followed what they're saying. Why is it not getting better? Doctor would always give something a little expensive and we would get excited. If this is expensive, it has to work. No, this will cure. This is the final magical pill. And someday someone told me that, why don't you try stopping milk and milk products? Dr. Pal, you won't believe, in my heart, I was like, how silly is this person? And I have a skin problem, give me something to apply so it will get better. They are telling me to change my food habit? Are they out of their mind?
In this episode, we have a very interesting guest, Harsha and Subha from Satvic Movement. We talked about how to visualize our fitness, what is the actual goal, is it a weight loss or is it something else bigger, and how do we improve our good gut bacteria with these methods as well. What is Satvic Movement and what do you strongly believe in?
The word Satvic originates from the Bhagavad Gita. So we say, follow Mother Nature. She's the best nutritionist, the best doctor, the best everything.
Our purpose at Satvic Movement, we see, is a combination of two aspects. The first,
Studies have shown that you are what your gut bacteria is.
You talk about it in terms of the gut bacteria.
Correct.
And we talk about it in terms of accumulated waste within the intestine. Most diseases can be healed when they heal the gut.
Do you have any difference between processed and ultra-processed foods?
we divide in that case to three lists: green list, yellow list and red list. So what you are saying is ultra processed is that red list.
Yes.
Which is,
what is your motto?
at this moment, we are working towards creating what we call
Hi Harsha, hi Subha. Thank you so much for coming to our podcast, and we are so excited for the session.
Thank you for having us. We're equally excited to be here and to talk to you and share everything we know with you.
Beautiful.
It's an honor to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful. So the reason that we thought that this would be a wonderful podcast for our audience is that when I talked about circadian rhythm, when I talked about, hey, sunrise to sunset, all your hormones are being awakened by sunlight. And please go early in the morning, see a sunlight that will stimulate your suprachiasmatic nucleus and secreting hormones. I talked about pituitary gland, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and they said that, Arey Baba, don't talk all this, go and follow Satvic Movement.
Okay.
That's what they said. That's the first time that I came across
Is
the
it
name Satvic Movement. I was like, I'm talking scientifically, and this is something that you guys are practicing on a pretty much daily basis. So I just wanted to start there and then explain that this is how I came to know about you. And in this session, I'm just going to be a layman, okay? Because I strongly believe that doctors are not being taught preventive medicine, okay? You give me a heart attack, I'll put a stent right away. You give me a cancer, I will treat it. You give me obstruction, bowel obstruction, I will do surgery and remove the erector. But don't ask me how to prevent a cancer. I don't know completely. Okay, so that is the true thing. So please tell us, what is Satvic Movement and what do you strongly believe in?
what is Satvic Movement and what do we strongly believe in.
Correct.
I think.
Where is this Satvic Movement coming from, and then what are the principles that you follow?
Got it. And there's so much that can be said.
Correct, I know.
But to truly answer it in the most simple way, I feel if we share our journey, then you will find your answer in the story we share.
Please.
Would that be okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. Would you like to share the journey?
Sure.
Yeah.
So for me, the journey started when I was just 17 years old. And all my childhood, I suffered with a lot of health problems. So specifically, I suffered from PCOD. I had thyroid imbalance. I had a lot of hair fall. So what you see, I had almost like 1/4 less of this hair. It was so much. I had acne and I was overweight. So all my childhood, I just led an extremely sick life as a kid. And my life was quite literally revolving around school and doctor visits, school and doctor visits. Every weekend I had to go for a doctor visit to get something or the other checked, something or the other scanned, some dosage increased. And by the time I was 17, I was taking 6 different pills every day.
Wow.
One for this, one for that.
Wow.
And just to have so many health problems since such a young girl, it was scary. But more importantly, I felt that it completely shattered my confidence, because I used to feel that out of everyone, why am I suffering with so many diseases? And whenever I used to go back to the medical, to the hospitals or the doctors, somewhere I would believe that this is how my life is meant to be. That there is no reversal of these health problems. This is how I'll have to spend the rest of my life. And through this journey, somehow I came across certain teachers, certain masters in my life, under whose guidance I learned that this doesn't have to be the only way, that there is another way, which involves changing your food, what you put in your plate every day, and the way you live your life, your lifestyle.
Wow.
And
Food is the medicine kind of
food
thing.
is the biggest medicine. And initially, I didn't believe it. I thought, this is all just too good to be true. And I dismissed it initially. But when I thought that I've tried everything under the sun and it hasn't worked for me, I thought, let's give this a try. Let's give this a chance. And within 3 to 4 months of following the practices that I had learned, certain practices, within 3 to 4 months, my TSH levels came completely normal, which no medicine was able to do since so many years. My PCOD was completely reversed. My menstrual cycles became completely regular. My hair fall was stopped completely. The hair that I lost grew back. My skin became vibrant. Everything in my physical body transformed in those 3-4 months. And to see so much happen in such a short time was a huge revelation. So I wanted to simply do my service, my duty, to now sharing this with others, what I had learned. And my parents were my biggest supporters during this time. They supported this. They encouraged me a lot. And I started sharing what I had learned. I studied a lot. I went to many different institutes to learn this science in depth. And then I started sharing it through, videos, because I felt, what's the fastest way to get this knowledge out to people? And videos came to be the answer. So I started sharing it through videos and through offline seminars and workshops. So one of these seminars I was doing was at a place called Vedari, which was a health center in Mumbai, and it had a big auditorium, and hundreds of people would come to receive this precious knowledge of nature. And this institute happened to be Harsh's institute.
Who's it?
This center I'm talking about. So he'll share with you the story forward.
I've heard this story so many times, Subha sharing her journey. But every time I listen to it, and I'm like, wow, I faced the exact same situation. It's not just the health problems. I mean, those were different. But the feeling that happens to a child when they're not well. You believe, this is how God has made me. And these conversations I remember having with God in the bathroom, that, God, everyone is normal in the school. Why did you give this to me? Did I do something wrong? Or I've gone to the best doctors, I've followed what they are saying. Why is it not getting better? So I think there's a sense of helplessness. And more than the disease, it's that something breaks within, which is what I was resonating with, this fact of you can't openly dream. So I think I had a similar experience growing up. And I think we're so fortunate to come from families which can afford going to the doctors, so we would go and the doctor would always give something a little expensive, and we would get excited. If this is expensive, it has to work. No, this will cure. This is the final magical pill. And then
you had like GI problems?
Mine were skin problems. And nose problems.
I see.
So the chronic sinusitis, and you can think of it like a psoriasis or an eczema.
I see.
So these were the two conditions I was struggling with as a child.
I can imagine.
They were there from such a young age that I thought, like, this is part of me. Like, I'm born with it. It's not like I did something wrong and I had a problem. So
you use inhalers?
Lots.
Lot.
If you ask me the names, I'll try to remember. There was a Seroflow, there was a Ventrolin, there's a Flixonase spray, there's a Otrivin. Like,
correct.
This was my life.
Wow. And you were around like 10, 15?
Yeah. Right from the age of, till I can remember, 7, 8 until 18. I think I must have in a month, I used to do complete one antibiotic dosage, one cycle of 5 days. The cough syrup that goes along with it.
Correct. Fever medication.
Yeah, the histamine spray.
Antihistaminics, correct.
Yeah,
correct,
and then
correct.
you have there was this whole routine.
Correct, routine.
And now the doctor would come and I would tell the doctor that this is what you're going to tell me. Because it became so normal. And there was a sense of, okay, he's a sick child. This is how he's going to be. And you started preparing yourself. This is how I'm going to be. And someday someone told me that, why don't you try stopping milk and milk products because of the skin problem. Dr. Pal, you won't believe, in my heart, I was like, how silly is this person? That I have a skin problem, give me something to apply. I have to put some cream so it will get better. They are telling me to change my food habit? Are they out of their mind?
Right.
That's how ridiculous it seemed at that time, because there was such a strong understanding that we have to put something. It's not like we are responsible for a health problem. There was no reality, there was no understanding like that. But sooner or later, I realized this. I got the understanding that perhaps there's something more than just medicines. And I looked within and realized, yeah, we got to change the food and the lifestyle.
And when did that happen? Like around 18? 19?
Yeah.
You look like 18 already. But that happened around 18.
Yeah, I had gone to college to study in America. I think somewhere in that transition, just said, okay, fine, we'll experiment without milk and milk products. So we'll try. And it was so immediate, the benefit, that I didn't need a blood test to validate. My skin is getting better. I can sleep without taking a spray. Because if you have anyone of you who have a blocked nose know how it feels at night. You don't sleep properly.
Absolutely.
You're just using your mouth to breathe and trying all these things. So for me, the results were like my body shows me instant results when I'm eating something that it suits me.
Wow.
So it started with milk and milk products, but sooner or later it became clean food. And now that I am, in the recent terms, I've realized it's nothing but Satvic food that was really supporting my healing process in the body. So my skin began to clear up. I didn't need anything, no inhalers, no sprays, no steroids, to breathe cleanly, easily. So
this is the medical concept. I want to go into the interesting detail. First meeting with Subha.
So let's say sometime around that, Subha had this workshop that she wanted to do at Vedari.
Right.
And that time Vedari was new. So we did workshops, but 10, 15, 20 people would come. And Subha is doing a workshop, and I said, how will people find out about the workshop? She's like, don't worry, Harsh. And she's not from Bombay. I'm from Bombay. So I said, I have to take care of the registrations. She said, I'll do it online. Then she calls me and says, Harsh, Saturday we are doing a workshop. It's already full, 100 people. We'll do on Sunday also. I said, is this a scam? Like, how can it be full? And then that's first time when I met her, Saturday, Sunday, both days, 100 people have come to meet her. And I had seen some videos, but when I saw her speaking, that's when I realized, wow, she's spreading the same message that what I'm trying to share through the clinic.
I see.
We were doing it one-on-one.
I see.
Subha was doing it in a group.
Mass audience.
Yeah. But that's when I realized that she's speaking from the heart.
Right.
There's no script or there's no ulterior motive that something will come out of it. It's like you have received so much. Now I just want to share.
Wow.
And I think...
That's a destiny.
Yeah, you could say so. Because not many people drop out of school at class 11 to take up this as a way of life. And to have the guts to say, I'll not even complete my schooling.
Correct.
So that took some courage.
Correct.
But then the conviction was so strong that people were able to resonate. And that's when I realized that she's speaking from a true space.
Nice.
And it resonated deep within me.
Wow.
And even the work we were doing at Vedari was coming from a very much same space. I think that's what she also saw, and that we felt we should come together.
I see.
So that sort of led to the birth of what we see Satvic Movement as.
Wow.
So to come back to your question, what is Satvic Movement?
Correct.
It's a way of this wisdom that we have received by learning and by experiencing, of sharing this with the common man without complicating things in a way that they can't just understand, but they can apply. Because often we are taught things and we walk out and we are just like, where do we start? What do we do?
Exactly.
It made sense, but I don't know what to change. For us, that was a big concern. We won't give any theory. We will tell or share that you can understand and apply. Very practical. And yeah, that's how Satvic Movement was
started.
Yeah, and that's how I think we are proceeding and continuing.
Right. So I think we do the apps for marriage websites now. I think for you was the Vedri movement. Because two thought process joined together. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the birth of a new
Yeah.
movement. Being a gastroenterologist, I strongly believe that there are lots of research as well. Studies have shown that you are what your gut bacteria is. Okay, and that is what our ancestors have told. You are what you eat, because your gut bacteria is determined based on what you eat, and it's very clear. And I'm going to explain a little bit about when you say food is medicine, and based on your personal experiences, what we have seen in basic science research, where in animal models and also in clinical studies, is where, let's say you feed an animal broccoli, okay, for 3 months. The gut bacteria is so malleable, it can be changed to crave for broccoli 3 months after. The same mouse, if you give pizza, the same mouse will also crave for pizza 3 months after, because of they develop bacteria which is able to digest pizza. And now the patient is complaining that I'm craving for pizza. I always say that it is not you, it might be your gut bacteria, but who started that gut bacteria? That is you, correct? So I think I have a strong feeling that when you are changing your food in both of your situations, from a scientific concept, I can clearly say you that your gut bacteria, which is 100 trillion of them out there, and which is unique to Harsha and unique to Subha, have changed based on what you put in. So now coming back to your personal experience and your moment as well. So what did you change in your food habits which made you be healthy?
I'd just like to also share how we view this whole idea of the gut at Satvic Movement. I think it's very interesting how you talk about it in terms of the gut bacteria.
Correct.
And we talk about it in terms of accumulated waste within the intestine. So this is an analogy, an example that really stuck with me. It was of a flower vase. Imagine I have a flower vase in my hand and I hand it to you right now. And it's a glass vase, it's a transparent vase, and it has a wide mouth. And it's a little dirty. It has some patches of, dirt, stain. And I request you that, Dr. Pal, can you please clean it, let's say. And you put it on this table and you start cleaning it. And I also, give a cloth to you. I give some detergent to you. And you're cleaning. You're scrubbing the glass from everywhere. But no matter how much you scrub, you realize it's not getting cleaned. It's just still murky. It's still dirty. Then you take your hand with the cloth and you put it in the mouth of the glass vase inside. And you just take the cloth and you wipe it with the inside wall of the glass. And you take the hand out and you see the patch is now sparkling clean where you cleaned it. And that's when you realize that external cleanliness or external circumstances are completely based on internal cleanliness. If the glass is not internally clean, how can it ever be externally appearing clean?
Correct.
So now when we think about it in the glass vase, it's so easy to understand this, right?
Absolutely.
But when we think about it in terms of our own bodies, this becomes a little harder to grasp.
She's saying don't talk about gut bacteria, pick up flower vase.
Yeah, sort of, but in our own bodies also, we experience so many external things we're constantly trying to fix, right? Like we have a skin problem, we want to put an ointment on it, we want to put get some expensive face wash for it, the best moisturizer for it, we want to conceal it with makeup, with different things. We have odor from the body coming, we want to take deodorants and sprays and spray it, and we want to fix our blemishes, everything from the outside, we want to put a cover up on it. But what we don't realize that the problem actually exists inside. The problem exists within us. The problem exists inside. And until we really touch that, whatever we do from the outside will be a band-aid, quick fix technique. So when we talk about the gut, the problem, when I say the problem starts from the inside, it starts from the gut.
Correct.
So
thank you. That's what the podcast gut feeling.
yeah, it's so important. And even Hippocrates, who's considered the father of medicine, said all diseases begin in the gut. That may be an overstatement to say that every single disease, but at least we know from seeing people who come to Satvic movement to heal themselves that most diseases can be healed when they heal the gut.
No, that is not an overstatement at all. That's not an overstatement at all.
Yeah.
Multiple studies are showing that every disease, you name it, somehow or the other, you can connect to the gut. Somehow or the other.
Yes,
Please.
absolutely. So when you ask that what is the food that we share at Satvic movement, it is that which can be easily processed and digested by this gut, so that it doesn't collect, accumulate and create waste inside the gut. As long as that food can get easily digested by the gut, we term it as Satvic food. Of course, there are different principles to assess what is Satvic, what is not. But that's the food that we ate and we were able to reach our ultimate health.
I see. So, in gastroenterology standpoint, so we say that, okay, so how do we promote good gut bacteria? Okay, I always say that the first 2 years of life is absolutely critical, because once you plant a good seed, and that seed will grow as a plant and a tree, and all you have is a beautiful forest. Correct? And if you are planting a seed that is not growing, then you waste so much time and give an opportunity for a deforestation to happen right from the start. The first 2 years is absolutely critical. So what we say is, avoid antibiotics as much as possible, breastfeeding, and whole foods, correct? So fruits and vegetables and everything. And when you do that, it gives you so much amount of fiber, and that grows the good gut bacteria. I think probably the internal cleaning starts somewhere along those lines. In terms of Satvic food, in terms of the easily processed food, where do you give us some examples in terms of how do we incorporate that in our daily lifestyle?
Sure. So, as you would imagine, we are asked this question very often.
Yes.
What exactly is Satvic food?
Yes.
So, what we have realized, Dr. Pal, when we categorize it, this is Satvic, this is not Satvic, somewhere I feel we don't do justice to the food, because food is not so easily dissected.
Correct.
So we've shared principles instead of this is not the right food, that is. And those principles, once you are able to receive it, you can apply it to whatever you eat in any country you live in. So we will share those principles, and I think that will be very helpful.
Yes.
Can we?
Please.
So
remember, I am a layman.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dr. Pal, remember I told you, doctor is just a tag to treat. I want to be a pal to learn prevention.
Okay.
Please, yeah.
So we are sharing with you what we have noticed works best for us and best for the people who we share it with. And we realize there are these 4 core principles that one can apply to anything they eat. And that is very simple. L, W, P, W.
Okay.
We'll explain each one.
Please.
Take 2 minutes for each.
Please.
The first L, W, P, W. L stands for living. So it might even be surprising for many people to know that food is not inert. It has life in it. And when we eat food that has life, it will give us life. And then what is the opposite of life, if I may ask?
Death.
Then there is food which we term as dead food. There is per se no prana or no life force. So when we eat that, it's not going to give us life. We are not deciding whether it has nutrition or not, whether it has vitamins or not, because we are not looking at food with that aspect. We are saying, does it have life in it to give us that basic life that we need? So when we see living food, it's the first category of Satvic food. Now, what is living food? Anything that has come from earth, grown in earth with life in it, and has retained its original properties is living. So most commonly it would be fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, nuts, sprouts. These are the categories which we consider living foods, and they have not been altered from the way nature has designed us to consume it. And what would be dead foods?
Packaged?
Anything that has been packaged, processed, tinned, bottled, canned is dead food, because it's been there inside that particular packaging for how long? we will pluck, let's say we cut an apple and we leave it out. How long will it survive? Not too long. I mean, it'll start rotting and smelling and it'll go bad. And now I think 3 hours is, you can't eat that after 3 hours. Imagine what's inside those packets. How much time have they been there? Not even 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, sometimes even 3 years. And so that life force is completely devoid. So the first principle of Satvic food is the food must have life inside it, and that it fills us with life and vigor. Any questions on that?
So then I'm going to ask you practically.
Yeah.
Correct. So we are in a very busy lifestyle. And I think this comes along with the same concept of, okay, even in gastroenterology, we say that whole foods. I always say that my favorite thing is when you tear a package, you're tearing a piece of your intestine. Okay, that's a gross way to put it, which is almost similar to what you're saying in terms of dead food kind of thing. So in this way, so you're saying that, when you are eating wholesome foods like nuts, seeds and everything, which is good, but my patients are complaining that, if I have time, I can do this. But if I don't have time, processed foods, packaged foods are easily available, correct? And how much damage that it's going to do if I do it occasionally or if it is convenient. That is the argument. Do you have any difference between processed and ultra processed foods, or anything under package that you are completely off?
I think this component we do discuss in one of our workshops. We divide in that case to 3 lists: green list, yellow list and red list. So what you are saying is ultra processed is that red list.
Yes.
Which is never.
Never. Correct.
Yellow is, given the scenario.
Give us some examples of ultra processed for our audience. Please.
Why don't you'll have a lot of examples.
Yes, please. Please, Subha.
So,
because we always say, avoid processed food, avoid ultra
Yeah.
processed. Many people don't know what is possible.
Yeah.
Please explain.
So let's say, first let's talk about the green list. So something could be coming to you in a packet, but it could fall in the green list. Let's say you're getting a bag of nuts, it's coming in a packet,
Correct.
but it's not packaged food as
Yes,
such, right?
yes.
So that falls in
Thank
the green
you.
list. Or you're getting, let's say, some cashews
Correct.
or dates which are coming in a box, that fall in the green list. So green list is the raw ingredient itself, even if it's coming in a packet box bottle. And the second, the yellow list, are those foods which have been processed, but they don't have additives added to them, or they're not ultra processed. So let's say there are a lot of brands today who are making conscious packaged food. They are deciding not to add too many preservatives to their food. They're deciding not to add additives. They're deciding not to add refined sugars to their food, refined oils to their food. So those fall in the yellow list. So let's say you're getting a choco bar, a clean choco bar, which is made only with nuts, with dates, maybe with some raisins, and it's shaped into a bar, put in a packet, and it's coming.
Correct.
So these brands are few, but they do exist. Or let's say you're getting some peanuts, and those peanuts are roasted, they are spiced with different Indian spices, and they're coming in a box. So it's a processed food, but it's not processed to the extent that it's lost all its life force or its wholesomeness. It's still close to the way that it came from Mother Nature.
Correct.
And then the red list is the I would say the most dangerous of them all. It's the one where ultra processed foods come in, which are loaded with additives, preservatives, with synthetic colors, with sugars, with refined oils, and those, I would say, make up most of our supermarket shelves today. So think of namkeen, bhujia, think of biscuits that are coming in a packet, chips which are coming. Of course, there can also be chips which are in the yellow list.
Yes.
Yeah, but
yes.
most in the market
Most
today.
in the market, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, which is really good.
Yeah. So those are the red list
Or even
foods.
the frozen foods that we see. That's all in the red list.
Frozen,
So-
let's say, you have frozen pizzas and you're coming from US, that's the culture over there. To buy frozen food, to put it in the microwave, to just and eat it. So that falls again under the red list.
So, as a layman, I'm asking again, if it's just to have a healthy argument here. So, where frozen pizzas, absolutely no. Okay.
Yeah.
But how about frozen vegetables? That's a huge thing in US. Even many people adopt that because we do say that vegetables are good and low calorie, high fiber and all those things. Any thoughts on that in terms of your living and dead in that?
I think the underlying essence of all of this, because it can get so difficult, right? All these concepts and who should we follow, who should,
Correct.
like there's so many people. So we say, follow Mother Nature. She's the best nutritionist, the best doctor, the best everything. And you understand her principles. So whatever she gives, let's say she gives a vegetable, that is the best.
Correct.
When you eat it fresh as it is.
Correct.
Now, for some reason, you're in circumstances you're not able to do that. You have to freeze it. Okay, not ideal, but still better than eating a frozen pizza.
Yes.
So there are levels to everything. It's not that everything is black or white. So when we see what is closest to nature, that will give us the most energy. And what is furthest away from the way nature has given to us, that will give us the least or no energy. So yeah, it's like, you have to see
it's a spectrum.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
Same word.
But that same frozen vegetable, if we prepare it in a way with too much spice, salt, frying it, now no longer does we've destroyed the nutrition so much that it doesn't matter whether it came fresh or came frozen as to what we did after that with that vegetable. So even to prepare it in a way that keeps maximum nutrition intact is equally important.
So teach me here. So is the cooking method also is important, correct? Is that what you're trying to say?
Right. It's like, again, when we prepare the meal and we look at the dish and we can't even recognize what the vegetable is, that it's so far altered from its original state, and it's either cooked on very high temperatures or for too long, then there's no nutritive value that remains. So it's like going back to the principle, rather than giving an answer, giving a solution. It's like principle is closest to the way Mother Nature gave it. So the flavor of the vegetable should be higher than the flavor of everything we add to it.
So one of my teachers would say, do you understand Hindi?
Yes.
You do?
I can speak, but you will not understand.
Okay. Okay. So one of my teachers used to say something interesting that stuck with me. He said, घिए की सब्जी में घिए का स्वाद आना चाहिए, तोरई की सब्जी में तोरई का, आलू की सब्जी में आलू का स्वाद आना चाहिए. हम ऐसा खाना खाते हैं आजकल. We eat food, we spice it so much, we don't taste the vegetable, we taste just the spice. So that is no longer sattvic. That becomes rajasic.
I want to come to Satvic and Rajasic as well.
Sure.
I've learned it from you guys, okay?
Yeah.
But just a little bit on that is, okay, adding spices and everything, cooking method, will that go into red or will that go into yellow?
So red, yellow, green was primarily for the processed foods.
I'm just trying to understand where, for a convenience sake, let's say a patient, yes, I agree that wholesome food is okay, but this is the way I cook. And I understand that the nutrient value is going down and there is a small risk in that, but that is convenient for me. So instead of eating this processed food, I'm okay with this. Is that something that you guys are okay with it, or?
I think we share what the ideal scenario is,
and it's up to the patient
to do as much as they can. Because each one's circumstance, whether they live in a family, they live alone, how much time they have, is so unique. But it's important to know what our bodies are designed for, and then you can experiment and see.
Yeah. And then see. Yeah. So that is your L.
Yeah.
Correct?
Living. Should we do WPW? We'll make it short.
No. Please, you should explain. This podcast is going to be long.
Okay.
And I know my audience wants to hear from you.
Sure.
I want to go really deep, so that I want to understand as well.
Sure.
Okay. This is like a private workshop that I'm getting from you.
Okay. With question answer.
With question answers. Come on. And I offered you breakfast and you did say no as well. That is also. So I really want to understand deep so that I can also get. See, I strongly believe that allopathic medicine cannot work alone. So that's why it says alone, cannot work alone. It has to be integrated.
Right.
And then integrated lifestyle medicine is something that I love. There's a selfish thing as well that I want to do for myself and for my kids to learn as well. Okay. So I want to learn and then I want to adopt based on what is convenient for me in my environment. That's why I'm asking all these questions.
Sure.
So we have done with L. WPW is a abnormality in the heart. Let's not go there. So LWPW we have done with L. Okay, what is W?
I'll have Subha. She's the
Best.
This is her domain.
Okay.
So W stands for a word you already said. Can you guess? You already mentioned it in this conversation.
Women.
No.
Water.
Another one.
Another one. That's the last
Waste.
W. No. These are principles of Satvic food.
Wholesome.
Yes.
Ah.
I think you knew it all this while. You
Wholesome.
were joking around. Yes, so W stands for wholesome. In Hindi, we call this puranta.
Puranta.
Which means that
Pura.
it is pura. Exactly. The food is pura. It's not that something has been subtracted from it, taken from it, and we're eating the fragmented version of it. So it's like whatever we get from the earth is complete. It's a whole package deal. It's a very thought through food that's coming to us. Whether it's a coconut, whether it's a peanut, whether it's a fruit or a vegetable, the earth has done a lot of planning before sending it for humankind. It's not silly. The earth or nature is not silly that it will give anything. Done a lot of planning, lot of thinking that this food needs to have the perfect ratio of fat, of oils, of protein, of carbohydrates, so that it's a whole package deal that I'm offering to humankind. Now, what do we humans do? We think that we are better than nature. We are better than the earth. We will make it even better. We'll make this food even better. So we take something from it. We subtract it. So let's say nature gives us a whole rice grain. What do we do?
Strip it off.
We strip it off and we take the packaging, the divinely created wrapper, which it comes enclosed in. We strip it off, we pluck it away, and we think, oh, look, now this has become better. But little do we realize it's not become better, it's become worse because we have interfered with nature's plan. So that packaging is called the bran. And the bran is where the digestive mechanism, the nutrients of the fiber of that inner seed actually lie. So same way, let's say when we eat, let's say coconut, or let's say we have sesame. Yeah, nature has given us sesame seeds. What will we do? We will take only the fat component out from it. We will highly refine it. It will undergo an industrial refinement process where lots of chemicals, industrial chemicals will be added to it, and we'll have this refined sesame oil coming out. So we have again taken a whole food, that sesame was a whole food, it had all the good stuff in a perfect proportion, and we have made it a refined food, a fragmented food. So the Satvic principle simply says that as far as possible, it may not be practical to do it all the time, every time, but as far as possible, try to eat food in its whole form.
Whole form.
Puranta ke saath.
But we are eating very whole. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We are eating 2 plates of biryani. Yeah. That's a whole. That's not the wholesome that you're talking about.
No.
Yeah. Okay, whole food.
Yeah.
Okay, so this conversation will go here and there, but we'll come back to your principles, okay?
Yeah.
Because I want to understand as well, okay?
Course.
So we'll talk the rice, okay? So rice, when you remove the bran, then it becomes
White rice.
white rice, correct? As a South Indian,
Yeah.
that's what we grew up with. In your practice, so you're saying that you'll eat brown rice a lot more.
We will eat any kind of unpolished rice. It could be brown, it could be red, but it's unpolished. So principle is not that brown rice or this rice. Eat unpolished rice, which has not been stripped away.
More fiber intact.
More fiber intact. The
Yeah.
taste is that good?
Coming back to your example of the rice or the mice
Mice.
with the pizza and the broccoli.
Oh my God. He is playing devil's advocate with me. Correct. Okay, that's true. That's true. But even me, so what I tell my patients is that yes, absolutely, the bran has the fiber. And then every man or woman should have minimum of 25 grams of fiber per day. Okay, for your gut. Okay, I also pitch in my thing as well, where to have how do you know whether you have a good gut? In scientific standpoint, your stool, we have 3 S's. It might be gross, but gastroenterologist, it doesn't gross for us.
Yeah.
Smooth, silky, and soft. Okay, and that's a Bristol stool scale chart where we classify into 7 different types, and 3 and 4 is this normal thing. Okay, whenever this is not happening, something is not right in your gut, and which means that the fiber is not there. Okay, and you should know Hadza tribe, where in Tanzania there are people who are basically following your Satvic movement. Even now, they're following our ancestral lifestyle. Even now, that is our one whole group of people that we can learn a lot from. So they are very protected. All these Stanford, UCSF big research centers, they do research on these Hadza tribe to see how our gut bacteria is being transferred from there to our modern era. You should do research on them. I'm damn sure that whatever you're saying, they are doing as well. They only eat roots, tubers, and they do eat meat as well because they hunt. But they cannot eat after sunset because there is no lights. If you measure a stool specimen over there, compared to me, who has been lived in America for 16 years, the diversity of species is 400 species less in me compared to them. There are 1600 in them, only 1200. I'm talking about species. Under species, there are multiple bacteria, correct? So then what is wrong with these people? What with us? That our consumption of fiber is only 15 grams of fiber per day. Guess that number, what they are. Obviously, it's going to be high, but guess.
60?
No, more.
Oh, I was going to say 50, but now I'll guess 80, 90.
No, more.
100?
More.
200.
150.
Okay.
So 10 times less, which means that all this, what you talked about, the process, the package, not closer to Mother Nature, has been slowly ingrained into our daily lifestyle, even without our knowledge. And start of the podcast, what we talked about, gut bacteria is a problem for everything. So when we are not feeding them, they are biting us back. Okay, and that is what I talked about. That I appreciate that you came up with this answer that red rice, brown rice, initially it might not be tasty, but you could get accustomed to it. And then your gut bacteria will change, will malleable to that as well. Okay, super. So you touched upon my favorite food of rice. Okay. You guys know I was pretty big before.
No.
Oh, really?
I was 100 kilos before.
Wow. No way.
Similar to how you guys had a wake-up call, I had a wake-up call as well. I had a health scare.
Okay.
And then,
tell us a little bit about it.
So,
if you're okay.
Yes, absolutely. I finished medicine in PhD Medical College, Coimbatore. And then I went for higher studies. And then, as usual, as everybody, we were just hardworking, compromising health and everything. And then 2015, I became a full-time advanced gastroenterologist. I do like advanced procedures for pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, and all those things. And life was all set. And then that's where I had a small health scare where I went into the hospital, and then they said that all my blood parameters were off significantly. And then they said that lose weight. And I've said this in so many podcasts where in medical literature, when we study, all the books are this big. Okay, like 300 pages, 400 pages. And as a medical student, what do? You mug up. You mug up, and then you just pass the exams, and then you come and learn from the patients, right? That's what usually happens. But in all those books, in every disease that you take, treatment is weight loss. Okay? And what happens? You turn the next page, there is no description about how to do the weight loss. They go to the next disease. This is what is happening, correct? So then I realized, being myself, I didn't know where to start. Okay, so I went all over. Then I realized that food is the key. Okay, so I had my own experience as well. And similar to you guys, similar to after COVID was gone, I didn't know what to talk about on YouTube. So then I said, okay, I'll talk about my weight loss journey. So that's how all this started, and circadian rhythm and all those things.
What you just said reminds me of something. When I had gone for my study, I had met a doctor. This was in Florida. There's an institute there called Hippocrates Health Institute.
Is it right? Huh.
Yeah, so they treat cancers over there using food and lifestyle. So I was studying at that institute. There was a doctor who had come to give a lecture to the students, and I was one of the students then. And he was just sharing with us how he asked us that, can you guess, out of 7 years, I went to, I did my medical schooling, how many days I was taught nutrition? And everyone in the students were guessing. And he then revealed 3 days.
3 days.
Out of the 7 years, they learned nutrition and food. They weren't trained on nutrition.
And those 3 days I didn't go because I was reading for that.
Yeah. So the whole focus is not on reversing at all.
Absolutely
it is on
true.
simply managing or just keeping it how it is.
Symptomatic. Exactly.
Yeah.
Symptomatic. Absolutely. Keeping it as it is. But we have state-of-the-art devices to treat you in case if something happens.
Yeah.
So we are the fallback options.
For emergency care or for things when it gets too late.
Correct.
I mean, it's very helpful.
Very helpful. We're the fallback. So that's how it was for me as well. Then I started noticing food as a medicine and all those things. Then I started losing weight and all. But at that time, while I was tracking down my calories and all those things, rice was everywhere because I would grow up with rice, right? You know, in lunch, we would have like sambar, rice, and then rasam is one of the most South Indian thing. And then we have curd. And then if you do even more, we just eat rice with ghee. And then podi is one of the main thing. So I absolutely loved it. Okay. And then dal as well. All right. Okay. So let's say in your practice, when you eat rice, so you said red and brown. Can you tell us like some practical things? What do you do in terms of dishes? What does your plate looks like?
I would not say it's very different to what other people's plates looks like.
I'm treating you as if an alien. So that is the myth I want to break. I want to break that, okay, this is not an alien thing.
Yeah.
Everything can be managed based on what you can do within yourself. So how was Harsha's plate looks like with rice?
Now, I would say I'm very mindful that it should taste amazing. Number one.
Okay, good.
So there is no concept of sacrificing flavor or pleasure. And food should be entertaining and exciting. But while doing so, after eating, I don't want to have to sleep. I still want to have energy to continue doing whatever I want to do. So I can't sacrifice taste, but I also can't sacrifice my energy after the meal. Or next morning I wake up with a blocked nose. I don't want that either. So now I know that this food can be medicine, can be tasty.
So you see food as medicine.
Yeah.
So you say like, okay, my energy is tied down to the food.
But not medicine in a negative way. Medicine in a way that I can enjoy it also.
Correct.
So I think if you ask me what I would love to eat with rice, it's coconut curry. It's one of my favorite things to do. And today for lunch also I had it before I came here. So just a lot of vegetables.
You can eat it every day. So we were here.
Easy for you.
Yeah. So last year we were also in south of India. We were in Auroville.
I see.
And for 2 months we were here, Dr. Pal. Every day for lunch, he ate coconut curry and rice. Every day.
But coming to the principle, right? If I would have rice earlier also, without those vegetables, maybe with only dal, then at the end I would feel very heavy. But now rice being the same, if it's supplemented with a lot more vegetables, and whichever vegetables you like and what's available, and flavorful, then I feel I don't end up feeling tired at the end.
I see.
And I enjoy the taste because rice is rice.
Yes.
So I think
So what kind of rice that you enjoy?
over here in South India,
white, brown, red, or millet
Usually-
rice, or millet, quinoa,
yeah, I think a mix of everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say we have gone out to a restaurant. We can't say make a red rice idli. Not all. So we are happy to enjoy that white rice
I
idli.
see.
Knowing fully well that it's an exception we are making because we are in a travel or something.
I see.
But if we are making at home, we try all sorts of different brown rice, red rice, black rice. There is even unpolished white rice you
I
get.
see.
White rice which is not heavily polished.
I see.
That's also available.
I see.
So I think
Unpolished white rice. Tell me more about it.
I don't know the exact detail, but I do know there's a concept.
There's an availability.
Yeah, that even rice can be so extracted.
I see.
Unpolished basically means less processing.
Less processing.
Yeah. So
How about millets comes in this one?
love it.
Ah.
I love millets. I think this is a domain which we are just learning about
Correct.
because it's There's so much variety,
Absolutely.
but it works really well. I think I personally love
They're
it.
the ancient grains, millets, that
A
we
millet
have.
was the first one before rice.
Yeah, way before rice and wheat, we used to have as a nation millets.
Correct.
And then when the the revolution came, we completely transitioned to rice and wheat, forgetting these ancient grains or thinking of them as something less.
No, and also for mass production.
Yeah.
Easy to
So
translate.
rice and wheat was very easy to
Yeah.
do mass production. Correct.
But now it's coming back again.
Correct.
And the last year was the year of millets.
Correct.
So
That's millet from a gastroenterology standpoint. Low glycemic index. I mean, it slows down the
absorption of sugar in the
correct.
body.
It keeps you fuller longer,
Yes.
and that comes with the same concept of the fiber as well. So it has more fiber. So all this discussion, whenever something has more fiber, I'm sold.
So you can make roti out of it also. We
Correct.
have wonderful millet rotis. It replaces rice also. I mean, you can get that same texture. So I think it's such a diverse. We have upma in the morning made with millet sometimes. Excellent. So I feel it is very diverse in the way you can use it.
Nice.
So much variety.
So in US, millet is slowly catching up, but quinoa has come to practice 10 years ago. 2012, 2013 is where quinoa was was pushed into the market, and now quinoa is being part of the whole process. So when you look at the ingredient of quinoa is again good fiber. Again slows down the spike of insulin, so it keeps you fuller slightly longer. Amount is the key. Do you have quinoa? I mean, do you include quinoa in your diet?
We do, but we are also very mindful that it's not always available to everyone in India. So we have a few recipes made with quinoa. I can mention two,
Please.
which you must try.
Please.
There is one cocoa quinoa bowl. This was one of the first recipes I tried
I see.
from the book that Subha had at that time, and I loved it.
I see.
So it's called the cocoa quinoa bowl.
Okay.
And the other one is the kheer.
Kheer.
Yeah, it's made
Yeah.
with quinoa.
Made with quinoa.
yeah,
Kheer.
yeah.
Wow. QK. Quinoa kheer.
So I really like these two
Wow.
recipes.
Ah.
But again, I think we are very cautious when we say quinoa because not always is it available to everyone in
And
India.
it's also very expensive here.
Very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very expensive. In US, my audience, 20% are in US, where quinoa is a big thing. But that will come under your Wholesome,
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah,
Because
why
it is not processed.
Yeah.
Even though it is in a packet, it is not processed.
it's an ingredient.
Green. Green lip, correct. Okay, super. I still want to focus a little bit on this W. Okay, because this W is the key, I guess, to understand this. We're going to talk about sugar. Will this come under this W, or should we talk about in that PW?
It will come very much in
Very
this
much.
W. Yes.
So I'm learning, correct? Yeah. I'm learning. Okay, super. Sugar. So right off the bat, people think in gastroenterology standpoint. I'll start with a medical science, and then you tell me your principles. So medical science says that, okay, so especially for kids, you cannot go more than 25 grams of added sugar. Preferably no sugar at all, but absolutely not more than 25 grams of added sugar. I did a reel with my friend's daughter. We got to a McDonald's, and then we said, what is your favorite drink? McFlurry and boba tea. You guys know boba tea?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is like, kids absolutely love it over there. Okay. And the sugar in that drink is 50 grams of added sugar in one drink.
That's like 11, 12 spoons.
Easily. And people think that Coke, Pepsi and all this are, like all this sugar, soft drinks are bad. This thing is almost close. So if you say no to McFlurry, right, that friend's daughter will never even talk to me again. So I created this funny thing that, okay, no, you split into half and then you give it to me. Okay, so that's where I created the concept of 25. So that is where we come up with. We as doctors finding it very difficult for patients to cut down on their sugary foods because sugar is everywhere. So what is the principle in your movement in terms of sugar? Where should I start?
Subha will take it.
So we don't say don't eat sugar. We say simply replace it with the candies that nature is
I
providing.
see.
So in the Satvic food philosophy, there's a very important concept which is called replace, don't remove. Because when we remove things, we start craving them, and then we go back to our old habits. But if we can replace those things with cleaner alternatives, then automatically we feel fulfilled. I think one important, before just I jump onto sugar, one important aspect of Satvic living, that it's a lifestyle of abundance. It's not a lifestyle of restriction. It's not a lifestyle of restraint or, sacrifice, as much as it is a lifestyle of abundance, of enjoying the foods that come from our earth. So, coming back to sugar, so sugar comes from two raw materials, either sugar beets or sugar cane. Most of the world's production comes from sugar cane, sugar. So, when we process it, again, this raw material, when we process it, when we, first we extract the sweet from it, we juice it, we boil it, then we centrifuge it, and it goes through a lot of different processing. It gives us these white sugar crystals, which is what is used.
Table sugar.
Table sugar. So, and this, a lot of even researchers have proven it's a highly addictive substance. There are a lot of researchers done comparing the addiction level of sugar versus cocaine. They found that sugar is actually much more addictive than cocaine. And that is also one of the reasons that most of the processed food industries today, they add sugar heavily in their food products. Because ultimately, what do the companies want?
More purchase.
Yeah, that we go again, buy again, go again, buy again, and nothing hooks us more than sugar does.
I'll just do a follow-up explanation for this one. So
Yeah.
we did a mouse model, okay, where we gave sugar on one end.
Yeah.
And we gave cocaine on the other end.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mice was equally going to both sugar and cocaine at the same time. Okay, and in due course of time, with even smaller doses, mouse chose sugar
Yeah.
a little more than the cocaine. So
Yeah.
just a scientific evidence for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in processed foods, they add a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So you were saying don't take, I mean, it's okay to add sugar, but as long as it comes from Mother Earth.
Yeah. So coming back to the concept of replace, don't remove.
Correct.
We all enjoy desserts. We love desserts, right? Like no one wants to live their life without desserts. So how do we make desserts that make us feel good before, during and after, not just during? So we simply replace this processed refined sugar, industrial sugar, with as close to nature sweeteners as possible.
Okay.
So again, like we were sharing, the philosophy we share is not black and white, There are levels for everything.
Correct.
So there is the completely unrefined level, which includes sweeteners such as dates, figs, raisins, fresh
honey?
fruits. Honey will come to.
Okay.
And then there
I'm not
is
jumping here. Okay.
No problem.
So dates, raisins,
figs, fresh fruits.
Yeah.
The completely unrefined category.
Absolutely. That's from Mother Nature.
Yeah.
That's from nature. That has everything. It's fully intact, fully wholesome. And then we have the second category, which is the minimally refined category. So this includes things like jaggery. Let's say. It includes, I'm not so well versed with what is available in US for sugar, but I guess maple syrup.
In US, straight white sugar. So don't worry about
Oh, straight white sugar. Okay. But in India, jaggery is available in block form, in powder form, in syrup form, all the forms. So it's definitely less refined than white sugar, but it is still quite refined. And then the highly refined is the white sugar or even brown sugar, or all those sugars which are highest refined. So it's a spectrum.
Where do you place this monk fruit? Is that, will they argue that it is from Mother Nature?
Which one?
There is something called monk fruit sweetener. Monk fruit sweetener.
Yeah.
And then people also argue that stevia is plant-based as well.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
So
I think it's the principle, right? If you have to extract something from it too much, it's going back to
the same principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
So
we're
it's
trying to
not
keep it
natural.
It's not, I mean, you could take something from nature, but you've refined it to the point where you've only taken one aspect of it. So it's not good or bad as much as it's like, it's not this whole list.
So,
in the spectrum.
Like, again, I think we all get so caught up, right?
Correct.
That is this good? Is this bad? Is this good? The question to ask ourselves when, like, to assess is that how close is it to its natural form? And when we get that answer, we for ourselves know.
So artificial sweetness are two things. One is synthetic and the one is plant-based. Synthetic is sucralose, aspartame. All this, not even, you're red, bright red. Brighter. But I feel there's a role in that as well. You might not agree with me, but I'm just telling you my standpoint. Where I'm talking from a clinical standpoint. Okay, so patients are coming to me that, I want to lose weight. Motivation is a key, correct? When the motivation happens, when you see a small budge in the weighing scale. So what I say is that, yes, you like your Coke, Diet Zero, whatever it is, that is filled with aspartame. Okay. Ideally, don't take it at all. Okay. But the patient tells me that that's what I've been drinking throughout. If you ask me not take it, I don't want your advice at all. Then I say, if that is the case, you take it, use this artificial sweetness to your advantage. How do you do that? This is only advantage with artificial sweetener is 0 calorie. There is nothing more to it, correct? When you are on a calorie restricted diet, your body is going to respond. Your body is going to lose weight, and that will happen fast. So I have a patient who was 250 pounds. 250 pounds is like 125, 150 kilos, okay? Morbidly obese. And he was drinking Diet Coke every day thinking that it's good. I said, it's okay. Continue that change from Coke to Diet Coke for 1 month because he cannot stop Coke, okay? 1 month he did that. He decreased from 250 pounds to 240. Okay, only 10 points. Small, when you are in the morbidly obese category, small changes also makes big differences. Then in the follow-up visit, he said, Dr. Pal, this is the best thing ever happened to me. Okay. And people said, eat salad. I will never eat salad. So this is the best thing happened to me. Now I want to do more. So then now I said that, okay, now is the time to take your artificial sweetness off. Okay. So I just want to make that point that is where your individual profile matters a lot. So your artificial sweetness in your case is bright red, okay? And then coming back to you, the plant-based, I think it will come around somewhere between yellow to red in that spectrum, where you are extracting something from plant-based. Monk fruit, erythritol, and your stevia comes over there. But I want to really know where does honey comes through.
LW. The third one will list.
Oh, okay. So you're coming to, the P you're going to come. Okay.
Thank you so much for watching the part 1 of this podcast. Please click this link for part 2.